Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel, and I'm Jade if you're new here, and today we're going to do something a little different because even though I've been really trying to get my actual general physical TBR down, I do have a few arcs I really need to get to. So this is a can I finish my arcs on time video. I thought it would be nice documenting reading some arcs because obviously sometimes these are slightly smaller books or they're brand new, and I think it's just good to support the authors. So I thought it would be nice to just sort of do a video about it, but also there is a little bit of pressure because I've got quite an extensive TBR already for this month, and now I'm adding in these arcs. So there are 3 arcs that I definitely need to get through this month that I want to document reading. I can tell you my experience with them, what I think of them, sort of just like a cute reading vlog, but a little bit pressured because it's can I get this done as well as everything in my TBR. And I believe these are all due out quite soon, so I do need to get moving. So the first one I have is actually on my Kindle, and my Kindle's downstairs charging, so I don't have it here, but it is called The Library of Forbidden Books, I believe. I will display it here so you can see what book I am talking about, by Mario Escobar. I've not read a Mario Escobar novel before, but I have heard the name, and so I thought this would be fun. It sounds like my kind of thing. It's about World War II, it's historical fiction, but about someone I believe that sort of sets up some sort of secret library. And I'm going to look up the release dates so we know what we've kind of working with here, what my sort of time frame is to get these all read and reviewed before they are out. Okay, so this book is due out on the 1st of September. So I've kind of got the whole month to read this one, but it is quite short. I think when I saw on my Kindle, I'm pretty sure it's around the 300-page mark. It definitely wasn't that long. So I feel like I can breeze through this one. So I will say I'm tempted to just start with this one and sort of get one off, but let's have a look at the others that I have. So next we have Grim Tidings by BK Borison. I feel like a lot of you would have heard of BK Borison. You may have read some of their books. So I've read a couple of them. I read Good Spirits, which is sort of like the first one in this series, but they're not like continuations, I don't think. I think it's more like a standalone. I don't know if it's interconnected, but the last one was like a Christmas story. I think this is more like Halloween, but essentially they're always romance novels. So we've got the historical fiction one, the romance one. This one is not due out, I don't think, until sometime in September. Let me check because I just sort of remember that from when I looked it up before. Yeah, this one's not out until the 15th of September, so I feel like this is probably going to be the arc that I have the longest time to read. And funnily enough, the one I've had the longest. I did want to get to it last month, but I just had so much I wanted to read. But I definitely want to get to it this month so that my review's out by the end of this month, so that, you know, when it releases in August, it's got my review. So yeah, this is gonna be fun, hopefully. And then the final arc that I need to get to, I literally only just received this, and it is called Immortal Rose by Alexandra Bracken. I honestly don't know Alexandra Bracken, but I actually saw some people in one of the Facebook book groups that I'm in talking about her and her book and how excited they are for this one. So it's really cool that I've got the arc. I believe this one is romantasy, so that's kind of exciting because I don't get a lot of romantasy arcs. I mean, I have a little bit this year, actually. That's kind of a lie. But generally, I feel like that's the one genre I often don't get the arcs for, sadly. This is definitely the beefiest one of them all. It is almost 500 pages. And the print's really tiny. It's kind of like the same size as the BK Borison one. So I feel like this is going to feel more like probably like a 700-page novel, I'm not going to lie. Let me look up when this is out. Okay, this one is out on the 18th of August. So I definitely need to get to this one soon. I don't even know if you're going to have this video before this one is out. But hopefully, you know, I get to finish it, get this video done, and you will have this soon after this is out. So if you're watching this, yeah, this one's probably out. So if it sounds interesting to you, know that this is probably available because yeah, 18th of August. So this should push it up on my priority list, but I must say, I don't know why, I'm really in the mood for the Library of Forbidden Books. I just feel like going in with the easy, short one might just make me feel good and get ahead, but then I think I do have to prioritize this as my second read. And I guess the closer we get to fall when I read this, it's going to be more atmospheric. So let's do the Library of Forbidden Books, followed by Immortal Rose, followed by Grim Tidings. So yeah, I'm going to start the Library of Forbidden Books today, right at the beginning of the month. Then I can like whiz through that. That should get it off, and that will hopefully make me feel a bit better because like I said, this isn't very long, I don't think. So yeah, let me read you the blurb so you know what's coming. So here we go. This is the description of the book. In a world of burning books, one woman will risk everything to keep the stories alive. Berlin, 1933. The vibrant cultural heart of Germany is darkening under the shadow of the Nazi regime. For Helen Nathan, one of the first female librarians at a prestigious German library, the books she cherishes are no longer just sources of knowledge. They are targets. As the government begins its systematic purge of literature, compiling lists of forbidden works and orchestrating public book burnings, Helen realizes she cannot stand by and watch her world turn to ash. Determined to resist the encroaching tyranny, Helen and her colleagues embark on a perilous mission of secretly collecting and hiding the very books slated for destruction. It's a dangerous act of defiance in a city where every neighbour could be an informant and the Gestapo are a constant looming threat. Her quiet rebellion is especially complicated by the fact that Helen is half Jewish, and Rudolf Kummer, the ruthless Nazi official, seemingly has a personal vendetta against her. As the stakes escalate and friends and neighbours begin to disappear, Helen must decide how much she is willing to sacrifice. Her fight is not just for the pages she saves, but the very soul of her country and the freedom to think. Based on the heroic true stories of librarians who fought back, Library of Forbidden Books is a gripping tale of courage, the profound power of literature as resistance, and one woman's struggle to preserve humanity in the face of absolute evil. So yeah, books, World War II, because I do enjoy my World War II historical fiction. If you've watched my channel for a while, you're going to know I often enjoy that. So yeah, like one that's focused around books. I mean, obviously there's like the book thief and everything like that I've enjoyed too, but this sounds quite cool. Like, you know, they're trying to keep the books from being burned. So yeah, I really like the concept of this one. So I think I'm just gonna go get my Kindle, start reading that one, and I can check in with you and let you know what I think. Well, welcome to my reading nook. I've been reading over here a little bit of the book. Now, what I will say is, yes, it's definitely a very short read. Like, I'm already almost halfway through it, and I have been reading for... I've probably spent an hour on it, not a lot more. So I feel like I'm almost halfway through. To be honest, I haven't really been watching the time. It might have been a little bit longer. I was going to film a clip of me reading, but I was like, who really cares to see that? I don't feel like it's the kind of book that I'm going to be like overly expressive with or anything. So I was like, you know what? We'll just film a clip after I finished starting it. Now, what I will say is this e-copy of the book that I've been given from NetGalley, it's formatted terribly. So the chapters don't even start on a new page. They just kind of like run and it has like chapter something really small. The author's name is just like randomly placed on the page on different ones. And then sometimes the sentences are like a few words and then it drops down and it's on the next line. Like, it is terrible, to be honest. And if I'm honest, it is a distraction because, you know, it's not exactly like a mistake in the book, but it's really hard to read. It just doesn't flow. So obviously this isn't like a fault of the author. I'm guessing that they had this sort of like rough e-copy that they've sent everyone out as the e-arc, but I don't think it's a good move because I do think it makes it harder to read. And what I will say is the plot feels like it's moving super fast. So I don't really feel like I'm getting to know the characters in this story as I'm reading. Obviously that could sort of change as it goes on, but I feel like I'm far enough through that I should be kind of feeling more emotion with the characters now. I mean, most historical fiction set in World War II is really emotional and sad, and so far I just don't feel a lot of that, honestly. But yeah, essentially Helen is being targeted because obviously she's half Jewish, like I said in the sort of like intro of when I read the blurb, and she's struggling because, yeah, she's a librarian and she's trying to hide all these books, which is obviously very illegal. If you get caught, it's terrible. So yeah, she's trying to hide them. Her husband is in the military, who is now kind of working for the Nazis as a result. And it's just a little bit messed up. I do like her friend. I think her and her friend have quite a nice relationship. But again, I could see, like, I need more between them to really get that, I think. Like, I'm just not getting enough. Like, we've spanned several years already in the book, like, really quickly. So I think between, like, the formatting and just the pace of it, I just don't really feel like I'm connecting. Like, I feel like the premise of this book is so good, but so far I'm just, yeah, sadly not really connecting to it. But it's a quick, easy read. So in terms of finishing it on time, this is going to be easy. But yeah, I'm not completely sold on this book so far. So I obviously will check back in with you once I finish the book and let you know my exact thoughts and everything. But honestly, I just don't feel like I'm going to enjoy this one that much, which is a shame because I feel like most arcs I get, I at least kind of enjoy it. But so far, like, honestly, there's nothing about this book that I'd recommend. And I feel really bad for saying that, but that is how I feel so far. So yeah, but maybe, you know, some books I've read where the beginning's really slow and just doesn't feel like it's really going to grab me, and then something changes. So we've still got time. Okay, everyone, I'm coming to you a little bit late. I actually finished the novel a few days ago, the Mario Escobar one, and I gotta say, I just didn't love it, sadly. When an author's new to me, especially when I'm like given an arc, I really try to be as favourable as I can. And what I will say is I do think the story had like a lot of potential. It's definitely my kind of story about a woman during World War II who loves books and tries to save them. And I thought it was great in that sense, but the reason it fell so flat for me was I just felt like I never really got to know the characters. The plot was moving way too fast. Like, it was zooming through the years, and it was a really short book. And like I mentioned in my last clip, the formatting just wasn't good, and it did pull me out. And I know it's an arc, and I can't really judge it on that. But unfortunately for me, it did ruin the experience. But even if that wasn't there, I know that the content wasn't great, in my opinion. And I must say, I'm usually really lucky with arcs. I will find most of the time that I usually quite like what I've got. So I do feel a little bit disappointed on this one. Like, I really should have started with one of the others. But like I said, it did have real good promise. And I do think that, you know, if the writer went back, slowed the pacing down, added more detail, let me get to know the characters more, I do think the story was great. It moved so fast that I just didn't really feel any emotion. I didn't really care what happened to the characters. And then I feel like at that point, if I don't care, then I'm kind of lost. You know, I need a bit more. I need to care when I'm reading. And there were just certain things in the book that I just didn't care so much for in the plot, but I can't really say without giving spoilers. So, you know, if this sounds like something that's going to interest you because it is a book about books, and that's definitely what pulled me in, I'd say go read it. But yeah, I can't tell you exactly why I hated it without spoilers. So yeah, and I say hated, that's a bit strong. I didn't hate it. I do think it has potential, actually. There was like the odd moment that I thought was good, or a good scene. It's just that I just wasn't invested enough in the end of the day. So you may have seen this sitting next to me. This is going to be the next pick, because like I said, it was a few days ago now that I finished the other book. So this one, I think, is actually out now in about 6 or 7 days from now. So I kind of need to get moving with this one. This is the I need to read and get through this on time. Because like I said, very small print in this. It is almost 500 pages. So this is going to be a bit of a chunker to get through. I would say I usually read this much in probably usually 4 to 5 days. And I've got like, I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, I've got, well, 7 including today, but I'm not going to be starting this probably now because it's already quite late evening. But it is like the next to start tomorrow, and I'm not gonna lie, it's 40 degrees and I'm just like, at the moment I'm finding it hard to focus a little bit, which is another reason I need to get on with this, because I think I'm going to be a little slower than usual. Although right now I am in the middle of the 75 hard, sort of 75 booked challenge, which does commit me to reading a certain amount per day, and it does help. It definitely is going to move me through it more, but I'm going to need to read more than that to get through this on time. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is a romantasy, I believe, and it says, members of the ancient Roseborn family have a strange gift born of a fairy ancestor. The ability to infuse fragrance with magic, capable of manipulating mind, body, and emotion. When a shocking murder leaves the kingdom of Albion vulnerable to a coup, Royal Spymaster Hugh Thornton seeks the one person who can help, Viola Lockwood, the last living Roseborn and secret heir to a fraught legacy. Livid at the silver-eyed aristocrat who had thrown her in jail to force her compliance, Viola nevertheless comes to an agreement with him. In exchange for crafting Immortal Rose, the singular perfume capable of saving Albion, illegitimate Viola can seize the life and fortune that should have been hers. As Hugh and Viola race to find the perfume's lost fairy ingredient, hidden deep in Albion's dark underbelly, neither can deny the scorching attraction building between them, especially as the attempts on Viola's life grow increasingly brazen. But a terrible truth lurks in the heart notes of their kingdom, and while every bargain has a cost, Immortal Rose may demand more than Hugh and Viola can ever pay. So yeah, this sounds really interesting to me. Like, it sounds quite unique as romantasies go, especially lately. I do love my romantasies, but I would be lying if I didn't admit that sometimes I do feel they are a little bit similar, but I mean, if I enjoy them, I enjoy them, so I don't really mind. But this one just sounds a little bit different in plot, which is kind of cool. And as I mentioned, I have not read anything by Alexandra Bracken, but I have heard people mention her, so I am super excited to get into this one. I'm just gonna go away, read this, come back with my thoughts on this arc because yeah, as I said, a bit more pressed for time on this one. And I feel like overall I want this video to be about sharing the arcs, sort of promoting them best I can. Obviously, if I don't like them, I'm going to be honest, like I was with the other one, with Maria Escobar's book, sadly. Like I said, I try to be the most favourable with arcs, especially of like smaller authors, but I am also always going to be honest with you. I'm never going to sit here on a video and say, oh, I loved a book when I didn't. Like, I'm just not. So yeah, I'm going to go away, read this and come back with my thoughts because, especially because it's so hot in here while I'm filming, I don't think you just want to watch me read and sweat or anything like that over this week. This whole entire week is supposed to be like 40 degrees. So yeah, obviously I have aircon, but this office is the warmest room and like obviously heat rises. So my downstairs is really cool with the aircon. The upstairs is still a little warm and this room is the warmest. So I still prefer right now sitting downstairs. I don't use my reading nook as much apart from if the temperature is a little bit better for it. But yeah, I have higher hopes for this one. So let's go see what my romancy arc has to offer. Okay, I am checking in really quick because, oh my God, this week couldn't have gone worse. So obviously I was on like a not too tight a time crunch with this current arc that I'm reading, but a decent way. And I just had a few things go wrong this week. So I went out shopping, got back, the garage door wasn't working, so I had to get an engineer out for my lunch break when I'd usually be reading, etc, etc. So I kind of lost my reading time. I was like, it's okay, it's just one day. Then yesterday, I just had a few things, like little things around the house go wrong. So I didn't get as much reading time, but I sort of started to catch up a little bit. And then the next day, it was just like a busier teaching day. So I was like, you know, it's fine. So I was like, yeah, it's 3 days and I haven't got very far into the book. And now, day 4, I was like, got a bit of a quieter teaching day. I can sort of catch up a little bit. And I lock myself out of the house. How did I do it? I actually have no idea because when you exit my house, you have to literally lock it behind you. And I was just going out to have my morning coffee on the porch after doing my workout. So I was like hot and sweaty out there, but I was like, you know, it's fine because it's 30 something degrees already this morning. So I was like, I will go out there, have my coffee and then come in, shower, get myself ready for the day, have plenty of time on my book to get the housework done that I need to do. And yeah, somehow the door locked behind me. And then I tried calling my husband, he wasn't answering, so that usually means he's in meetings at work and isn't really available. So I was like, well, I guess I'm stuck out here for the day. Thankfully, he did pick up my message after like an hour. So he has come let me in. I've now showered and I'm now telling you, which I could say is wasting my reading time, but I'm so overwhelmed right now. I don't feel like I can focus on the book because I was like, I've got, I think 3 days now until it's released. And I'm on day 4 of reading. I'm not even a third of the way through the book. So I've kind of got to get a move on today, as well as like get some stuff around the house done that I need to get done as I've got a quieter day. So yeah, because I've got quite a busy weekend. I've got a friend's baby shower and things. So today's like my day. And I've also got a book signing I'm going to. So yeah, it's going to be busy. So yeah, I thought I would share that little update of how wrong it's going. And this is why you should not leave a book until this close to its release if you want to read it before. Because yeah, when I started this off, I was like, I've got about a week to read it. It's fine, you know, but things can happen and it gets slow. So yeah, fate just wanted this in the video, I guess, for me to say, yeah, all this stuff went wrong. Like garage door broke, locked myself out of the house. Like how? Just thought I would stop by and share that entertaining news with you and just I'll give you that update. But I am now going to go so I can get done with cleaning today and then get reading. So yeah, here we go. I did it. I did it. I managed to finish on time. Actually, I just sat down after telling you my story about getting locked out of the house. I just sat down with this book a lot of yesterday, a lot of the spare hours I had, and I almost finished it yesterday and then I've just quickly finished it off this morning. And what a comeback from the first arc in this vlog. I love this one. So in this book, we follow a girl called Viola, and she is someone who has this talent for making magical perfumes, and she also can like scent people, so she can like even scent their like emotions, whether they're telling the truth due to, I guess, pheromones that they release and how it smells to her. So what I really like about this is that the magic system is quite unique. It's very, very perfume based, but it kind of links into what you'd expect, like, you know,
poisons, etc. So it has a little bit of like an apothecary feel, but it's just a little bit more specific than that, that you can get these people that are descended with fairy magic that can actually manipulate them and turn them into potions and poisons. Anyway, Viola with this talent is sought out by a guy called Hugh. He wants to help the king who is dying. He's been poisoned and he needs Viola's help to sort of create a perfume sort of antidote, I guess you could say. Now Viola has done things that are not always legal, so this is basically in exchange for her freedom. They say if she can create this perfume called Immortal Rose, that then she can have her freedom back. But she bargains for a little bit more than that. She's quite a sassy character. I really like Viola. And basically her and Hugh have to go and get these ingredients, but there seem to be people out trying to thwart what is happening, and there's quite a lot of twists and turns with that about who's involved, etc. So I feel like it's a really good book. It has like a slight mystery element to it, I guess, in that sense, but it is advertised as romantasy. And I would say that's correct, but it definitely has a bit of a historical fiction, magical realism feel to it. It kind of feels like it crosses genres quite a lot. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Belladonna by Adeline Grace, which if you've been here a little while, you'll know I absolutely love that series. So yeah, this book does have kind of similar vibes, I guess. So I would recommend this if you like Belladonna, because I feel like this crosses lots of genres just like that one did. Although this doesn't so much have like the supernatural death element in it like Belladonna does. I will say it took me like a moment to get into this, but once I did, I was so hooked. Like, I love the characters. I love Viola and Hugh, like our female main character and male main character. I love them. I love their relationship, how it grows. There is a little bit of spice in here, but it's nothing too full on. And actually, I really enjoyed the spice in here. Like, for me to really enjoy the spice, I have to feel that connection from the characters, and the way it is in here, yes. Only negative thing that I have to say is it ends on a complete cliffhanger, and this is part 1 of a duology, and obviously I've read it as an arc, so who knows when I'm getting part 2, but it's okay, I'll wait impatiently. I feel like this is just a thing. When I do get the occasional romantasy arc, they always end on the worst cliffhangers, every time. But yeah, overall, a really good reading experience. I'm glad I've got to read it on time so that I can put out my reviews before its release. And now I guess it is time to move on to Grim Tidings. So yes, let's move on to Grim Tidings. And I'm now setting myself a new little bit of a deadline challenge, because although this isn't due out until mid-September, I do kind of want to get this video up because I'll be honest, I've been so busy with everything that's gone on, like locking myself out of the house and the garage door breaking, that I have not got a video for next week for my upload. I say next week, it's like literally in a few days. My upload's due in a few days. So I want to try and finish this in like 2 days, and then I will have time to quickly review it, edit it, and put it out like on probably the night before. So yeah, that's the goal. So in case you don't know what Grim Tidings is about, it is Darcy Moore is tired of death, which would be fine and good if she wasn't a Grim Reaper. Determined to outrun her designation as the villain, Darcy decides she won't be dragging her next assignment to the underworld. She'll be saving him instead. Unfortunately for Darcy, there's a complication in her plan. Guardian Angel Gabriel Atos doesn't tolerate threats to his little corner of the world, and a Grim Reaper showing up at his bar is as deadly as it gets. But when he realizes Darcy is not as she seems, Gabriel must decide if he can trust his growing feelings or hold on to his long-standing grudge. But magic doesn't come without consequences, and the Department of Hauntings and Spirits will eventually come calling for their missing Reaper. A spooky yet simmering enemies to lover's tale to keep you warm this fall. So like I said, this is, I think, a second part in like a series, but I believe they are just standalones. And like I said, maybe there's a small interconnection, I don't know. But the other one was a Christmassy one, Good Spirits, if you didn't hear of it, which was like a Christmas-based one, which I enjoyed. I didn't love, but I enjoyed it. But I feel like the sort of like Halloween vibe is going to be a little bit more up my street. I just feel the other one was a little bit too much taken from A Christmas Carol, maybe. Whereas I'm not sure I've really heard of, you know, this one. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of books where someone to do with death and an angel fall in love, but I think it's an interesting concept, a sort of Grim Reaper going rogue. So yes, I look forward to diving into this. I am going out now, so I'm hoping I can get a couple of chapters read tonight, but then I've pretty much got literally the next like 2 days to just get through this. It is only like 350 pages, but they are very small print, so we'll see. I'm going to try my best, and you know, hopefully this is up. If this vlog is up on August 19th, I think, if this is when it releases on my YouTube, it means I made it. Okay, and if I'm saying this and it's way past August 19th, I missed that deadline. So yeah, I'm gonna get on with reading this and then I'll come back and fill you in on my thoughts of my final arc for this video. I just started recording this and then realized that I didn't have my microphone plugged in. So it should all be working right now, hopefully. I really hope so. But I've made it. I've managed to finish Grim Tidings, although it does only leave me about 24 hours to get this whole video edited. So it's going to be a bit tight because I've got a really, really busy working day today. So I'm filming this really early in the morning because I finished this last night. And to be honest, I wasn't sure I was going to make this. I have just not had a good week. You know, you saw the clip of me talking about getting locked out, and that was just one of many things. I think I mentioned the garage door. Then Friday, I had a really nice time going to a book signing with Sarah Penna, which was lovely. But then on my way back, my drive home was a nightmare. I got harassed by some men. It was just not fun. And then I just didn't have the best weekend. Like, everyone was just cancelling on me and so unreliable for everything, apart from my friend's baby shower. So I will say, if you come across this video, thank you for having a great day with me for that. But yeah, everything else, I just feel like everything just went wrong this week, and I just felt kind of, honestly, just a bit stressed and lonely, and yeah, that's just how it is. But stuff happens. So last night I pretty much devoured this whole thing. I did start it the day before, but I didn't get very far. I think I was only about 50 pages in. So I kind of just, yeah, sat down and read this whole thing last night. So as I managed to devour it ready for this video, as you can probably tell, I did quite enjoy it. And I settled on a 4.5 rating, if you're wondering. And I just, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. And I don't know why I kept talking about the font being so small. It actually really wasn't that small. This was a really quick, easy read, which is quite common, you know, of anything by BK Borison. And this is the second, I think I mentioned, in the Ghosted series. So it sort of follows Good Spirits, but what I will say, it's definitely standalone. Like, there is a very brief mention to a character from Good Spirits, like a couple of little Easter eggs, and obviously it's set in the same kind of universe, but it isn't, you definitely don't need to read Good Spirits to read this. If you're thinking, oh, I want to read this because, you know, Halloween's coming up, whatever. So I think I mentioned this comes out on the 16th of September, so it's perfect time for Halloween. And if you want, like, you know, your books with sort of like some sort of ghostly elements, but it's not at all scary, it's definitely a romance, this might be one for you. So we follow Darcy in this book, and she is a Grim Reaper, and she's been sent obviously for her new assignment to take someone else's life. I say that, obviously she's not like evil. This is just her job to collect the souls that are due to die. Just making it clear that she's not randomly killing people. But Darcy's kind of had enough of this life, and she's decided to sort of go rogue and try not to kill her next assignment. She ends up in a bar where she meets a guy. They sort of have this like instant attraction, and it turns out that Gabriel, this guy, is actually a guardian angel. So they kind of work against each other because she's the Grim Reaper coming to take a life, and he's the guardian angel that tries to protect everyone. But technically they work for the same company in different departments, I guess you could say. And essentially Darcy comes up with this like list of things she wants to do and experience, and she is trying to convince Gabriel, like, I am not here to kill anyone, I am trying to get out of it. But they kind of know that, you know, it's fate. It's definitely a novel about fighting fate. But overall, I think a really cute sort of little romance story. It deals really nicely with the topic of death, in my opinion. So I feel like it does give some feelings. I definitely cried to this. I don't know if it's just because I've had such a stressful week that this made me cry more easily than usual. I'm not sure, but I did cry. So I feel like it definitely was emotional for me, at least. I feel like most books, if they bring in the topic of death, often do make me cry, even if just a little bit at some point. I'm very much an empath. So if someone's feeling really upset because someone's died, yeah. So as I said, I gave this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. The only reason I'm not giving it a 5-star rating is just, there's a bit of a grumpy, like, trope, I guess, at the beginning, but I don't really feel like it suits the character of Gabriel. And therefore, I just kind of liked it the more I got into the book. The beginning, like, and the lack of trust, even though it makes sense because they're kind of opposing roles, I don't know, it just got a little bit to me, but I ended up really liking it. I do really like the characters, so I definitely would recommend this one. And there we have it. I have made it through all 3 of the arcs, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing them with me. So obviously BK Borison, bit of a bigger writer. Now I will say Alexandra Bracken, I had not heard of her, but I did obviously go on her Instagram and follow her after reading this amazing book, and she's actually got quite a hefty following. So I feel like she's a lot more popular and probably just escaped my radar until now, so I will have to go and read some of her back catalogue at some point. But yeah, my romantasy lovers, especially if you like a little bit of like a mystery within the story, like a little bit of a mesh of genres, definitely pick this up once it is out, which by the time this video is out, this would have just come out. If you like your romances, definitely pick this one up. And then obviously I didn't love the other one, the historical fiction one by Maria Escobar, but I will say, if you like something that's quite quick and easy to read in that kind of genre, you may really enjoy it. I just think for me, I really look for sort of more depth and emotion in books, especially to do with World War II when it was such a dark time. And for me, it just didn't get there because the plot moved way too fast. I feel like it needed more so I could really start to connect to the characters. But I do think the premise was good. I just wish it was longer and just, yeah, more in depth basically. But let me know if you've had any interesting arcs lately. I do love helping out authors and reading arcs sometimes. And like I said, I do have another one that I have received that I do need to add to the list very, very soon. But what's really annoying right now is my mail is not getting delivered. So I actually have like a book that I've bought that is on the way. I know I'm on a book buying ban, but it's a book that I've already read. So it's not one to read, which is an exception to the ban, according to, you know, the rules that I'm following. So it's not one to add to reading. It is actually one that I read as an arc that I loved and it's now out. So I did pre-order a copy of that and that's on its way. But yeah, it won't get delivered. I'm gonna have to go collect it because something to do with the mailbox's locks are getting upgraded. So until that's done, they're just not delivering us mail, which is kind of frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, because it's about, I think, a 15-minute drive to the post office. And obviously I'm just not going there every day to check if I have things. So I'll probably just like pop in each week. The package I can track with the tracking to see when it arrives. But if I get anything from publishers that I don't know about, I'm just not gonna know that they're there, which is kind of irritating, but there we go. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little reading vlog and I will see you again real soon. Bye.